basically, I did a video recently on World Trade Center 7 and the connections therein. And I wanted to kind of use this to go over a little bit more of the actual way the connections work.
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh my!
To start with all of this, how 9/11 pilled are most of you? All of you, whatever.
I think all of us are pretty much in on it not being what it seemed. You know, the Building 7, the Flight 93. Woody actually did Flight 93 as a conspiracy years and years ago, and so
I'm pretty open-minded.
We're all pretty open-minded and very
Brazil. Brazil.
I mean, in some ways, yes. We can go up to this guy and this guy and this.
That's actually right in the middle.
Yeah.
That'd be funny if
I thought that was air traffic patterns of America. I saw Miami, New York, Denver.
But yeah, so this whole thing right here is these are all of the tenants of World Trade Center 7. And what's interesting is that if you look at the actual tenant list, one of the things that really was the most shocking to me, because it's SEC, which at the time held the files for pretty much every financial scandal of the late 90s, early 2000s, WorldCom, Enron, all that stuff. All those files got destroyed. All of the Enron files got destroyed because they were in World Trade Center 7. The insurance company that took out the let's see if we followed this up here, the $4.5 billion insurance payout on the asbestos film Twin Towers, that was housed there. The interesting thing, though, is basically these two guys, Khalif al-Midhar and then Nawaf al-Hazmi. These two people were there was a filing that was released in a couple of years back. It was 2021. These two were being recruited as CIA assets. Mm-hmm. The interesting thing is these were also hijackers. These two, two of the hijackers on 9/11 were straight up just CIA assets. And they're being managed by this guy, Omar al-Bayoumi, who worked for Urcan as kind of a no-show job, which was a government contractor for Saudi Arabia. And that is how, that's one of the many ways that Saudi Arabia connects to the Safari Club. And really the reason this is in the middle is that this is the thing that it got brought up earlier. It's this sort of unofficial agreement between, Brad, what was it? It was United States, Israel, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, and there was a weird
France.
European... Yes, France.
Yeah. Morocco.
It was kind of circa 1970s originally, mostly, right?
Yeah, it really came about because of the church committees. So the CIA had to kind of play nice in-house for a little bit, and so they had to do things off the books with other security agencies, and that's kind of the reason why the Safari Club was kind of created, in order to continue their operations in Africa and the Middle East.
Okay, yeah. So it was a way for the CIA and the U.S. to work transitively through other countries to keep themselves distanced from our goals. Okay.
Yeah, basically as proxies initially, but then the way it kind of continued on, and the reason that it was still kind of a thing was that it allowed in countries where there's limitations on their foreign intelligence services operating domestically, they would be able to use basically they would just sort of do a hey, have your guy come here and do this thing that we want to do here, but we're not allowed to. Okay. And so that's why this guy was in the U.S. because he was, and the way the whole money system worked was that money went from Alex Station to the Saudi embassy, which sent wired it back to Saudi Arabia, through, washed it through Urcan, dispersed it to this guy back, and then he would bring it back to the U.S. to give to these two people, paying for lifestyle and rent, shit like that. These two were Al Qaeda members. The Carlyle group, which David Rubenstein was one of the. Like, it's hard to like. The problem with anything that's like a mesh network like this is that there's no real clear place to start.
Yeah, I mean, it looks unbelievably complicated.
Mm-hmm.
That's more string than I've ever. I don't think I've ever used that much string for anything ever.
Yeah, but it's like,
how much string are you using, Taylor?
None, no string. I'm stringless.
That's the real conspiracy.
Damn.
Yeah,
so you got the CIA, the IRS, the SEC, the Department of Defense. When I watched, and I'd heard a lot of it before, but when I watched your video on Building 7, I was like, the tenant list of Building 7 is like a conspiracy theorist's dream. It's the most,
it's the shadiest thing in the world.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's got, the Solomon Brothers, like half the building was Solomon Brothers. The Solomon Brothers got bought out by Travelers Group, who merged the City Group. Travelers Group was one of the other companies in which with whom the World Trade Center complex was insured. Citigroup was basically considered to have more or less caused the .com bubble, but they wound up completely escaping it because all the files tying them to that, all the SEC things, all those were destroyed. I'm trying to think of anything that I had to cut from the video.
Yeah, I'm sure you had to cut a lot because you're getting pretty deep there. And I think you even said at one point, you're like, you mentioned the Safari Club, and then you were like, well, we can't really delve too deep into that because that's, persona non grata shit. Yeah. And, there's obviously,
Brazil
moving systems, that's, if this is getting uploaded to YouTube, I think I probably have to stop there with that. Lest.
Yeah, don't get us banned. Just stay on the safe side of it. And so I guess as
they were a dance group.
Yes.
They were just a dance group, and they
were
just happened
beatboxing.
to be 9/11 when they were having a good time dancing. So what, as honest as you can be, without risking bans and censorship, who do you see as kind of the principal responsible parties for Building 7 specifically? Because I'm sure it was multifaceted and there were lots of different competing interests.
For Building 7 specifically, I think that was mostly the financial sector.
Okay.
And I think really what happened was that, it was a sort of let it happen on purpose type situation for, the attack on the two towers, which, kind of engineered by the CIA, but then it was to a certain degree massively exacerbated by our greatest ally. Through things like certain art installations.
Okay.
Floor 81.
Floor 81. I don't know how much of our audience is familiar with that.
It's so basically for the entire year leading up to, that tragedy, there was the 81st floor of I think the North Tower. Don't quote me on that. It's one of the two. Was rented out and basically occupied the entire time by this art collective called Gelatin, which was it was a group of
Brazil
art students, but then the art collective itself was run by this Austrian guy. But there's just so many weird pictures of them where they're just posting with drawings of planes crashing into buildings and
Really? I didn't know that.
let me see if I can find need to go to one of those.
Tom, you're telling me it was ran by an Austrian painter?
That's what happens. Yeah, that's what happens when you don't let them. That's what happens when you do let them go to art school.
Yeah, it was ran by a rather eccentric, I think he was a 141-year-old painter. He'd been in fucking Argentina for many years.
What's the guy's name? Yeah, so it's a group of 4 artists from Vienna, Austria. Okay, here I'm just reading off Wikipedia right here. One of Gelatin's best-known art projects began in March of 2000 when the group removed one of the windows on the 91st floor of the former World Trade Center complex and temporarily installed a narrow balcony while a helicopter flew around the scene, taking photographs to be later documented in their book, The Bee Thing. There was also a picture, like they took control of the electrical system of the building at one point and had the windows spell out E-Team.
I've seen that. Yeah.
I think and that
picture.
Oh yeah, and like the thing with them is like, you know, there's one of these pictures that's just the 4 guys in that collective, and it's like none of them are the Austrian ones. It's just a bunch of
Brazil
guys, and they're standing in front of like this wall of boxes of like detonator fuses. That's really suspicious,
dude. If I were in charge, I would have been like, "Don't fucking take that picture, morons!" Yeah. Like, why would you? Why would you do this?
Like, don't dab on them.
Yeah, don't
be Fortnite dancing.
Yeah, that's like a teabagging. That's like, we're gonna get away with it. Fuck you. Yeah, that's the tough thing about talking about some of these more consequential, I'll say, conspiracies, because you have to be so measured on platforms like YouTube and everywhere, because if you get too real, you will be banned. Like like you literally can't get too real with some stuff. And I see that in your videos. I see that in a lot of conspiracy videos where they'll be like, and then, you know, I've brought you up to this point, and I pray you can make the necessary connections between where I've left you and the end point, because I can no longer explain this without jeopardizing my channel.
Yes.
It's funny you mentioned that. Like in the new South part, there's a part where Jesus Christ himself comes down. He does a sermon on the mound, passing out bread loaves, and he's like, all right, here's the deal. He's in charge now. What he says goes. He's the president. He's got all the keys to power. So we just gotta eat it. He's like, shut up. Don't say that. We'll get sued. Like, he's telling everybody to shut the fuck up and eat it. It's I really like the new episode. I hope this whole season's gonna be maybe not harping on the same thing, but to that quality. It was really good. But yeah, you know, can't be spreading misinformation about powerful people, Taylor.
Certainly not. That's not appropriate. You just need to internalize the narrative, foist it on you, and move forward. That's how you know a good honest American goes. So 9/11 Building 7 is the sketchiest shit of all time. Very obviously skeevy at the very least, you know. I don't think, and then the problem with a lot of conspiracies is there are groups that sort of overplay the level of conspiratorial behavior, and they ruin it for everyone. And so they'll say, like, actually 9/11, yeah, I know you have all this evidence for like seedy financial interests and things that make sense and convergent interests, you know, causing things like this. But actually, the planes were holograms and they were just missiles. There was no plane. There were all those people on every plane were fake. And it's like, fuck, like this kind of person is so damaging to people actually trying to learn the truth, because they discount all of it for others. Because someone who's casual and trying to learn about it sincerely and genuinely, they're going to see that and they're going to go, wait, holograms in 2001 flew into the, you know, then I suppose everything these people say is nonsense.